For the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first thing on the agenda tonight is the SB Spark Award. SB stands for Exceptional Student Performance this year. This award is given to students who are doing well academically and have an exceptionally positive attitude about school. They demonstrate respect and responsibility towards staff and their peers. They show courage by not conforming to peer pressure and refuse to accept anyone who bullies. The school board and the district want to recognize these students by celebrating their success at the beginning of the board meeting. The students will receive a certificate tonight, and your names will be entered into a drawing at the end of the year. In the past, it's been a Chromebook or an iPad or something like that. So we'll figure that out in June when the time comes around. And Amanda is going to hand out the awards tonight.
High School, Natasha Marin. Foster, Stephanie Romero. Maria Tallman. Hawthorne, Kimber Corrington. Okay, Hawthorne, Madison Rumley. Okay, Holly Aurora Sanders. Oak Heights, Friendly Nugent. Raylan Schick. The charter school, Shiloh Miko. Lastly, at the charter school, Eddie Rabin.
Right, if we could get all the kids that got awards to come back up here. Scott from the new area is going to get a picture of you guys for the newspaper. Easy name.
You did have to ask on a couple of this ones.
Really?
All right, parents, we do recognize this is a school night, so you're not obligated to stay for the whole meeting. You can leave with your kids or you can stay or whatever you'd like to do. So.
Mary Nassau.
All right, we haven't had any late additions to the agenda, so I would entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Certified and classified reps. I don't see either one of them here. Oh, the Vilma, who sat back there in the back. Thanks, Vilma. No Steve? He's harder to see sometimes, so I gotta make sure. Okay. All right, student report. Go ahead.
My name is Tracy Victor. I'm our vice president at Cleveland High School. I'm just gonna give you guys a quick rundown of what we've been doing this month. Right, starting with our spring sports, they have just started up and we are seeing a lot of participation this year. We have track and field, softball, golf, and I believe there may be a tennis club being started.
Brian's been working on that a little bit, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so we're sticking down the road, have high school team, mostly yes, middle school age and younger kids that have been interested, so, I think, yeah, that could be.
That's something we haven't seen in a minute, so I'd be very excited to get it back in the face.
You left off baseball.
And I don't like baseball.
It's the American pastime. Sorry,
Next week is going to be our annual spring breakout, kind of just a final push before we enter our week-long break. This year, we are going to try for 3 assemblies. We haven't done that in a very long time. So I would really thank Mr. Rose on the admin for allowing us to do that. One of them is going to be a sports recognition assembly, and so I know it'll be very exciting to see. We also had our annual play this year. Theater who put on 12 Nights by Shakespeare. It was a Shakespearean play, and there was a lot of attendance. It was really, really awesome to see, and they all did so good. They worked really hard, and so it's great to see that come to fruition. We also finished our jog-a-thon. We had plenty of kids from the high school, junior high come down to help facilitate that. Miss Jenna Northern helped run that, and so it was a pretty awesome turnout. There was a lot of hardworking kids out there. I believe you guys are still collecting funds? Yeah. Wonderful. And then we've also started our annual community service projects. Each of the class boards takes on a project that they see in the community, and they work towards that for about a month and a half to try and give it back to the people who have raised us. So I think that's pretty awesome. This year, the freshmen helped stock shelves at Shem. They were over there for like 3-ish hours, I believe. Just really hard at work. The sophomores cleaned the entirety of the high school bleachers, something that desperately needed it. And so it was really awesome to see that as well. Juniors this year, we're going to be revitalizing the commons area. So we're going to give it a fresh coat of paint. maybe get some rugs and chairs, new chairs in there, just a little bit more seating. And then our our seniors are running a book drive for the elementary schools. And so we will be looking for book donations too. Yeah. I think that's all I have. Is there any questions for me? Well, thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, Randy.
Very good.
All right, next on the list is the superintendent's report. Terry, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I suspect we probably have Sarah online and Jim online as well. So looking forward to seeing them again soon when they can rejoin us. On enrollment, we are up 5 from last month, which is good. We're still down overall. We've joined, the surrounding districts with that enrollment dip. The attendance award with 89.48% goes to Hawthorne. So you'll just keep that right there. And then we have Mr. Tao is going to report to us under outstanding achievement, some more things that were going on from winter sports.
Right before district swimming, I was talking to AJ Ronson, and as most of you know, he's our head coach for a few years, but before him, Doug Harrison was the head coach for 150 years. 46, I think, actually. But anyway, AJ told me, he said, if we win district this year in swimming, boys or girls, it'll be the 50th year in a row that Sweet Home has won at least one of the 2 district titles. So, and the girls did that, the boys took second, but so anyway, he was like, I said, that's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing to have somebody like Doug stay in one coaching position for as long as he's still coaching. He helps AJ, and he's right there on the side. So anyway, just thought that was worth mentioning. And 50 years in a row, it's nice to have our own pool. I certainly think that helps our program. And some years that program has just about 15 kids, sometimes that's 20, 25. But Sweet Home Swimming it's been fun to go to those. Over the district meets are usually over all the state meets up in Beaverton, but anyway, yeah, 50 years in a row that we've won. Many years we won both, but 50 years we've done that. In addition to that, while we got to talk and stuff at the school, also this year our cheerleaders won. They won their 20th consecutive state trophy. And Steve's not here tonight, but you almost get tired of hearing about how good our wrestling team is, but they took second to state this year. That was their 10th state trophy. It's something like 26 out of 29 years that they've been district or regional champions. So hopefully we can start winning a few more games of basketball. But anyway, very dominant winter sports that are swimming and cheerleading wrestlers. And so I thought it was worth mentioning, especially that like I said, swimmers for 50 years, and most of that's been done. AJ's picking up right up. So. That's why I'm here. It's fun watching their thing.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you. And with that concludes my report.
All right. Next we have the consent agenda. Basically just approving the minutes from the February 10, 2025 school board meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Should be pretty straightforward unless we miss something. All right, hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Information and discussion, budget update, Kevin.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Item 6A, the board package. We are now 8 months through our fiscal year. Year-to-date spending is up just over $1.3 million from the same time period last year. That's primarily due to having more field positions along with negotiated salary and insurance increases. Beyond that, charter school spending is up a bit. We also spent some more on some outside services that's primarily related to some more work that we did use general fund dollars for the OPIDES project. And so We have some line items that are over budget, they are offset by other line items that we probably now under budget on, so overall the year we're on track to be in total within our budget.
All right, any questions for Kevin?
Want to clarify, we're 8 months in to the fiscal year,
Correct.
and we're right now spending at 50%.
Well, and some of that too is, we have not done any of our fund transfers yet, like to long-term maintenance, plus the way, say for our teachers receive their first paycheck in September, but in June, they will receive 3 paychecks for the months of June, July, and August. And so normally, most of our spending happens at the end of the fiscal year.
So this is pretty much on track with where we're going.
Right.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Kevin. 2025-26 draft calendar, Terry.
Yeah. In your packet, you have the draft calendar. We are still having it looked over. The most important part, I think, to our parents is start, end, and where the breaks fall. And our teachers want as close to even quarters, semesters as they can. So we have 89 instructional days in first semester and 85 in second. This has gone out through our building and through the school buildings for feedback. It's pretty much a layover of last year's calendar onto this year's days. So we will have it back to you for approval next month.
Okay. Great. Any questions?
So I didn't know if so it looks like we're starting before Labor Day, the week before? Or am I missing the celebration?
Staff will, students.
Oh,
will.
staff will, okay,
Yeah.
I missed.
It's
that
all the
part.
little-
I don't always hear everything.
Yeah, it's all the little codes on the bottom.
Okay. Oh, yeah, in-service days, got it,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I figured that would have made a bigger splash than that if that was. I wanted to make sure.
I think so.
All right, next we have the integrated guidance information.
Get this up. on the screen. Whoops. Oh, there we are. Okay, so tonight I am pleased to share with you the integrated application presentation. So this is our second time that we have presented to the school board, but many of you are new, so we thought that we would do a little recap. So the integrated application is about aligning all of the programs. So districts have asked ODE for a more streamlined process for applications, reports, grants, etc. So ODE worked on combining those programs that don't have a requirement for legislation. They identified at the time 7 programs that had common goals and looked for ways to merge them. These initiatives and funding are not new, and going forward, the reporting requirements for the initiatives are now combined. So in 2022, each program had their own application process. There was multiple advisory committees. Community engagement only required for 2 of those grants, the SIA and CTE, and they were conducted separately. So as you can see, 2023 and to 2025 and beyond. So this process that we're currently talking about is the 2025-2027 application. They have streamlined all of those. All districts in our state have a deadline of March 31st to apply for all of these initiatives and explain what we would do with the funding. And it's one combined integrated guidance team and one application. So we're really happy about that streamlined process. There's more emphasis on engaging student voices with a focus on how to address student needs. So our planning team members include Superintendent Martin, myself, Kevin Strong, the business manager, Ralph Brown, the principal of Sweet Home High School, who is also the CTE coordinator, Kristen Adams, who is the student success coordinator, and Alex, we call him Alex N because his last name is difficult to pronounce, but he is our LBL ESD integrated plan liaison. So Alex has been a big part of our team. So part of the planning process includes engaging our community, considering the needs of all of our students, developing a plan with clear outcomes, strategies, and activities. And here are some of the common goals and initiatives. It's kind of hard to see, but it's continuous improvement learning, everyday matters, career connected learning, high school success, student investment account, early indicator and intervention systems, the early literacy success school and district grant, career and tech education or CTE, and federal school improvements for comprehensive targeted supports. So the CIP is the continuous improvement plan, and it's a process involving educator collaboration, data analysis, professional learning and reflection towards improved outcomes for students. Our district has a team, and we met before school started, and we placed an importance on 4.2, which is materials and practices to inform instruction, and 4.4, which is data-informed decision-making. And with that, I'd like to introduce Kristen Adams, who is our Sweet Home School District Student Success Coordinator.
Hello. All right, I'm going to talk to you about 3 of the initiatives under the integrated plan. The first one is the high school success. High school success started in 17-18, so the 25-26 school year will actually be the 9th year that we are involved in the high school success initiative. If you remember, you voted on this initiative back in probably 2015, Measure 98, and it was meant to expand or include CTE offerings in school districts across the state. And then after it was passed, the legislature worked on it some more and included not only CTE offerings, but dropout prevention and college going opportunities. So on this slide, it shows what we have done over the years, looking at our needs assessment, how we bring in our community engagement. I don't know why that there is, the orange is the community engagement. It's not showing up on your screen. The state looks at us for our focus areas are students with disabilities, homeless students, and students of poverty. Over the last 8 years, some of the outcomes that we've had under the High School Success Initiative, we've been able to expand our CTE offerings to include a forestry program, an ag program, health occupations program, all CTE related. We've also included an audio-visual program that is not CTE related, facilities improvements, and then we've been able to expand our college credit opportunities in both college now classes at the high school, as well as students taking classes at LBCC that we pay for. Oh, there it is. Okay, this one is a little bit hard to see, but what the state evaluates us on for the high school success is our on-time graduation, 9th grade on track, and CTE participation, as well as advanced coursework participation. In 2024, our graduation rates was 81%, which is comparable to the state. The state had 81%. I think we were like 80.9 and they had 81.3 or something like that. So we were comparable. The focus areas, as you can see, students with disabilities, students navigating houselessness, and students experiencing poverty. We are the solid colors. The state is the light color. So we've outpaced the state in 2 of the categories, and we're just under the state with the students experiencing poverty. The second set of metrics that they look at is our 9th grade on track. Last year, the class of 2027 ended with 92% of them on track for graduation. And the focus areas, as you can see below, students with disabilities were 82%, students navigating houselessness was 71%, and students experiencing poverty, 85%. The ninth grade on track is a very good indicator as to how that class is going to end up graduation rate. So we are expecting a high graduation rate by the time they become seniors. I don't have the metrics listed for CTE participation and advanced coursework participation, but I can tell you that the CTE participation, the number of graduates who were involved in CTE was 92%. Our key investments, for the 25-26 school year, the state will be giving us around $678,000. We have to break that down into the three categories of dropout prevention, CTE, and college educational opportunities. You can see that approximately about 67% of that allotment goes towards staffing. I've listed it there below, but we have added counselor and extra counselor for dropout prevention. We have an essential skills coordinator, math instructor, a forestry instructor, a CTE assistant. We have our audio visual technician, a high school success assistant, and then we have several dollars set aside to support staff with working with students who are off track, and such as summer and winter school, tutoring services, tutoring programs after school, and substitutes when needed. All right, the next is the early indicator and intervention system. Sweet Home receives a very small amount for this. We received just approximately $6,700, and it's to utilize for an early warning system that helps us identify students who are falling behind with on-time graduation. Our student system, our student information system, Synergy, offers us an early indicator and intervention system built into it. So we do utilize some of the funds for more of our whole school, whole district approach to making sure that students are on track. And then at the high school level, we use some of those funds for more targeted and intensive systems. Our 9th and 10th grade success teams, mental health therapists, we have a family support liaison, we have student champions that mentor students who are off track. And then Grade Guardian is a program that we purchased to help us track their grades on time grades. And then we have a couple of other services as listed. Everyday Matters is the next initiative. This is spread across all schools. Attendance, of course, is very important to every school system. The state evaluates us on regular attenders, not necessarily attendance rate. And regular attenders are those students who attend school more than 90% of the time. This is years ago, the state gave us money to help support students who were not attending school. It's currently an unfunded mandate. And so each of the schools utilizes what they can to work with their school attendance teams, their PBIS teams, offering attendance incentives, different things that they can do within their school that's going to incentivize families to get their students. But it is currently unfunded. And then next is Mr. Brown, and he will talk about the CTE.
Kristen, I saw you pushing the button, so I'm hoping I get the right button up here. Oh, thank you so much. So it helps incredibly to have wonderful help at the high school. So thank you, Kristen. I'm not going to read all the things to you here, but CTE community engagement, we're really fortunate at the high school for a lot of things. Number one, the team that we have there is incredible. But we've been able to those of you in the room that have been around Sweet Home for a while, forestry program, a guy named Dustin Nickel a while ago, and Nikki Stafford was a lady that helped him. We had it was CTE, but we didn't have a program. We didn't have a program of study. So a few years ago, we had a forestry natural resources program of study. And so we were able to make that more formalized. Dustin had been doing that for a long time, but we were able to move it into a more formalized situation. And then when I got here, it's been 11 years. People asked me in the community about FFA. And when I got here, I was really shocked that Sweet Home had never, ever had FFA, which was shocking because county's what the grass seed capital world. There's all kinds of, our kids are Army type kids, many of them. And so now through the leadership from the district, we've been able to add FFA, which has been huge. And health occupations, one of the growing deals in health occupations, we have that. So you all, our district has been supportive because a lot of places they don't have that. So thank you. CT changed a little bit. I just one of the things I want to get your attention to was a minimum 3 credits for each program of study. That had been 2 credits a couple of years ago. When they changed, I think it's more on Perkins 5 or whatever, they changed that up to 3 credits. So what that means is for a student to be a completer in the program, they have to have basically 6 classes within the subject area to get those full 3 full credits. And with those 3 full credits for every kid that has that, we're able to get some funding called Pathway funds that come to us that help out for Pathway is nice because you can use it for supplies or whatever. It doesn't have a lot of strings attached. So it's really nice for the programs. A lot of great things. Looking at high wage, high skill, in-demand jobs. A lot of these kids that as our CTE programs, they may be going into the workforce. And what we want to do is try to get them ready for high wage, high skill, in-demand careers. One of the things we've had with ODF, Oregon Department of Forestry, we had 3 or 4 of our kids last year went over and they some were firefighting, but for some of them that kind of opened the door. One of those kids went on, she's college, and I think 1 or 2 of them may still be there with the program. Knife River came in and said they were looking for some really good kids. Those kids were out of our CTE program. And so they had hired 4 kids. They came out, sent a crew and interviewed our kids in our school. We just gave them a room. So what do you need to get our kids good, high paying jobs? So they came in and were tickled to get the kids they had. And so those are some of the kind of things that we're looking at with our folks, the community engagement, trying to work with our businesses and trying to hopefully prepare kids that we will be proud of going into the workforce. And they come back and they look for more kids for us. It's really good stuff. There's a lot of stuff y'all can read a little bit late, but like I said, we have a really good program, good connections, and we're just building more and more. Measure 98 and Perkins and the Pathway dollars, that's the last part of funding, so it really helps us to be able to get the things and move forward with our programs. This is just some program. Perkins 5, $28,000, almost $29,000, and what we got was welding machines and supplies, and then Autodesk software that we had. And they had professional developed. They really encouraged the CTE folks. Regional coordinator encouraged our folks to go to professional development. So we had 3 of our staff went to a big national conference. They get great ideas come back, and also some, meeting with other peers. The Pathway funds was $4,000 that came in, and down below, just a little note, things like boots, fire school fees and supplies. Kristen talked earlier about targeting our groups that are underrepresented. One of the groups that we looked at was for some of our natural resources forestry, trying to get young women in there. That's what group. So one of the things they looked at, they went in and go, well, and the teacher asked the kids, and what are some of the things we need? A lot of our kids don't have boots, can't afford good boots, and we need for when they go out to use a chainsaw or whatever. And so they went in, the kids said, what if we get some boot sizes for the young women? So they got some really big boot sizes for some of our boys that have size 14, 15, and they got some smaller boots that would fit our young ladies. So you put on a good pair of boots, go over and safely participate, and they don't have to buy that. So it's great things for our kids. And any questions about our stuff going on? Like I said, I appreciate y'all, because that's why we have the great CTE program we have, because the board and district supported that.
So you said something, or I heard the word unfunded mandate somewhere.
Kristen, so that, and that's one of the things, we don't get into politics too much. We'll probably talk about it later after some coffee. We don't do the politics thing, but it's all, we live in Oregon a lot of times, anywhere, probably, but in Oregon, the state will demand that we do some things. And we'll do it to the best of our ability, but a lot of times there's no funding to do that. And so we just do what we're mandated by the state, so we keep in compliance. But some of them, the state just says, thou shalt, and they don't tell us exactly. We got one coming up. It's a really good one coming up. Our kids, we have a careers class and a personal finance that we're going to go ahead. And so the district has funded that. We have a teacher. We're preparing. We're going to start those. Kristen's got it on the books for next year. It's really good, but it's one of the ones that the state came down and said, you'll do it. And as far as I know, there was no money to help do it. We just, you shall, thou shalt, and we're doing. So, and you guys support us. So we do those things. And Kevin Strong. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, we are on the home stretch. I'm here to talk about the student investment account, and this is something that the state established. It's primarily funded by the corporate activities tax, and you can see right there the purposes, and they are student-focused purposes. And so for the Sweet Home School District, right now, for next year, this is a moving target, but we expect to have about $2.2 to $2.25 million in the way of student investment account funds, and we are primarily using that for positions. We have 7 teaching positions to help reduce class size, 3 special education teaching positions, a couple of counseling positions, a couple of positions at the junior high, both for math and English language arts, an alternative education teaching position, some classified support for instructional assistants. We also have some funds set aside for literacy and English language arts support, math support. One of the bigger items, this is something that when we implemented SIA, it was supported at that time. Mary, I think you've shared some thoughts about this, but at this point, we're planning to continue to waive all pay to play and pay to participate fees. And so this is especially a big deal at the junior high and high school levels. Some money for growing our own staff, and also some funds for technology and curriculum support. So that's right there. I have a quick summary of how we plan to spend the student investment account funds. So,
And Kevin,
yep.
what are the sources of that funds? I mean, I know it comes from the state, but do you have any idea of where they scrape it up from?
It's primarily the corporate activities tax, and so that then gets distributed.
Oh, I heard you, but I missed what it was from, these kind of corporate activities.
Yeah,
Okay.
among Oregon's almost 200 school districts, and so that's our share that we get here.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, with that, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Go ahead, Terry.
If I may, 10th today, 17th is next week, 24th is the week of spring break. And then we have the due date of the 31st for that. I was notified today, and this is thanks to the entire crew, Barbie, Ralph, Kristen, Kevin, et cetera, the people that were named earlier. Sweet Home was the first district that turned in, already has our SIA submitted. So it's kind of cool, because with the week of spring break being, that week's out. So if you're waiting until 31st, you're in trouble. So congratulations to our folks for having it done.
All right, next we got a big stack of board policies. We're not going to go through them in this meeting, but this will be the first reading, so take them home, review them. Got a little bit there.
May I make a comment
Yeah.
about it? So I looked at them all, there's a lot of Title IX changes in here, and I know Title IX is one of those policies that's kind of right now up in the air. Current federal administration reverted Title IX back to the original 2020, I think. And these policies are all about the current, so I'm hesitant to have us have this right now for review, and I don't know if we can put aside for a later time, these policies.
I would, I would think that on some of those, we have to be in compliance with state law, which would be a difficult position. So I'm not sure where we're at with state law currently. I know, again, not trying to get political here. Thanks, Ralph, for reminding me. That's going to be one of those things that I think that the state is going to push against the Fed, and we're going to see a lot of turmoil in that moving forward. So I would say let's review them. Let's see if we can live with them or not, and make our decision based on that. So, ultimately, we set the policy. We have to stay in compliance with the state laws and federal laws. But when it comes down to it, we set the policy for the district. So we'll do what we can to
3 years down or 3 months down the road, 2 more months down the road.
Yeah. So that would be my suggestion. But yeah. Again, to help the process, if you have any questions, please direct those to Terry. He can kind of go through those. The other thing this does is he can then disseminate that out to everybody so that we all get the same information coming from Terry that way. So and then we'll bring them up next month for a second reading, and probably the month after that for a third reading. So plan on that. So any questions? All right. We only have one action item so far tonight. We got one later, but that'll be after the executive session. So we're being asked to approve the integrated guidance initiative. So that's what we just heard about. And so is there anything we need to do specifically on this?
It's the board approval that you're placing the importance on these items that our team shared with you tonight, and we submitted the application, and we had to submit it tonight with we printed and that you would approve that.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the integrated guidance initiative that was presented tonight.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Right, hearing no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, motion passes. I do have a public comment submitted, and I've got 3 names on here. So I'm not sure who wants to come speak. Have Rob Boren, Eric Larkin, and Justin Dodge. So
One of 3 of us there. Good evening. My name is Eric Larkin, and I'm here to represent the Mid-Valley football and cheer program that has been established in the Lebanon community with surrounding communities that have participated in that. And because either the 2 gentlemen that were listed on there weren't able to be here, I just wanted to read something from Mid-Valley's organization that I've been asked to be a part of that board, and so I'm representing the entirety, I guess, that's here this evening. Again, it's Mid-Valley Football and Cheer is an organization that was established in 2023, and pretty much it was a direct response from. Sorry, I'm going to read some things. I haven't memorized. In direct response from community output and looking for a more competitive youth football opportunity in our valley and basically in our area. What began as a small initiative quickly grown into something much larger, and we've seen a lot of interest in both of the programs that are offered there. And to elaborate on that is tackle football, flag football, and cheer. And then to expand on that, I have no desire to bring any cheer besides what is already established and robust here in our community. Flag football is also established And largely the interest that I'm here for and some other community members and players are here is providing a more competitive tackle football opportunity. And so that's where I'm going to kind of expand on that. The first year of the program had 80 kids. Last year, there was approximately 130 participating from around the community in the area, largely in the Lebanon area. But there's Halsey, Brownsville, Scioto, Lacombe, and then now last year was Sweet Home. Sweet Home had seven families that chose to move to that organization, and some of them are here tonight behind me. And part of last year there were eight players that were named to the Oregon Pro Bowl All-State game, and then 4 of those individuals, those athletes, are going to be selected to go travel to Florida, play in this prestigious All-American bowl game that is part of the IMG Academy. If anybody's familiar with what that is, it's pretty much a robust elite sports program that I guess that's the nicest way to say it, but it is about as top notch as you're going to get in the nation as far as youth development into moving up into I guess outside of youth high school realms. A lot of players, both in multiple sports, you would see them deriving from the IMG Academy that are playing professional level ball. Yeah, so the Heart of the Mid-Valley Rebels program is the commitment to developing the fundamentals of football, fostering hard work, competitiveness, and sportsmanship while encouraging team participation. We're aiming not to only just provide a fun, active environment, but also teaching valuable life skills that will help our youth athletes both succeed on and off the field. And that really is having you show up to practice because you want to be there, and it's not just about sports. It's about also respecting parents, it's respecting your teachers, and respecting everybody else in the community, presenting that to the kids and holding that as a true value. I'm proud of having the opportunity with talking with Justin Dodge, who's the president, and then Rob Bourne, who's also listed. He's the director of the Lebanon organization, to have the opportunity to bring this program to Sweet Home and provide a more competitive youth football opportunity. And although they offer, as I mentioned, flag and cheer and tackle football, ages kindergarten through 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th and 8th, I'm focusing really on the 3rd and 4th grade cohort, and then the 5th, 6th grade cohort. I'm trying to start this relatively small, and I know that there's been other tackle football options in the community. And when I just know that team sizes get so large that when you have minimum play requirements and you have 25 to 30 kids on there, do that times 10, that's a lot of football plays to get fair and equal playing time for everybody on the team. And I truly believe by having multiple options similar to flag, Mid-Valley, Pop Warner, that if parents want to choose to have a more competitive experience, then this is an option for them, and they would allow for other organizations to have fair and equal playing time for all the kids in our community. I elaborated a little bit about what was here, and then more so from me is that I'll kind of just use an I statement here, but I know there's several other families that would fit the bill here as well. That my daughter's heavily involved with cheer. My son's been heavily involved with baseball and football. And I think it would be amazing to have my daughter be able to cheer for my son. And that's something that I've spoken with the president of the youth cheer program in Sweet Home, Kayla Rosa, and she is 100% on board and supportive of supporting what we're hoping to get to have home games, at least just two home games. And we've already submitted those dates to members in this room. We also had the discussion with Mr. Brown and his staff, thank you for that time and Mr. Tao, talking with the athletic department. They're trying to schedule two home games this year. And we have those dates that have already been submitted. So we just hope that that could be heavily considered, because it's always nice to have a home game at home, instead of traveling to Lebanon to have a home game. And that would be, I guess, the alternative. So I would thank also Mr. Barrett and Superintendent Martin for approving the practice location at Oak Heights. That again, that is a big thing, to be able to not have to travel elsewhere to have a home practice facility or a field to practice on. So again, thank you for allowing us to do that. And in closing, thank you for everybody for your time, and thank you for those in the community that showed up to support this alternative, or just another option for tackle football. Hopefully that was 3 minutes.
We'll give you a little leeway.
Thank you.
Did you, was that just informative?
It was more informing, just to the group, and I didn't really know. I've never been to a school board meeting, so I just felt it's always nice to hear it from the person's mouth, and just kind of put it all on the table, and then moving forward. And ultimately, we were hoping to secure practice location, which we were granted that. And again, thank you to all those participated in that. And then secondly, the consideration to have a home games at home. And the reputation, if folks have counterparts in the Lebanon School District asking about how the high school field has been left in the past after the home games down there, it's always, they've never had an issue, because we always leave it cleaner than we found it. And that's something that we would strive to do, and will do if granted the opportunity to have home games here in town.
So is this a pilot program that you're trying to bring to Sweet Home and hope to move forward and build on in the future? Is the impact that it has on, like you talked about cheer, like they have the cheer portion of that, but you're not bringing that portion, or they have the flag portion of that, but you're not bringing that. So you're just focusing on, like you said, the cohorts of the 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, to hopefully pilot it this year to see how it works out if granted field time, or you're just moving forward and just going to start a Sweet Home team, like how it affects negatively on the other programs and how that works.
Good question. So this year is, and the reason why I was walked out on the limb, so to speak, was there was I had a lot of feedback from the community about, they were asking, our experience with last year's football program, and everything that we experienced was in a positive light. And folks were saying, hey, are you bring that to Sweet Home? And so I had the encouragement and motivation to kind of come out. And I know change isn't easy. I know that, but also sometimes it could be refreshing for those who want to participate in that. And yeah, Janet, yes, this year is more of a, that's why I reduced down based upon the feedback that I received from family members and community members about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th and 6th specifically. I would never expand into the cheer world. My daughter's part of that. She's going to be green gold until she gets through high school. And similar to bringing the ballot here, we have designed logo that is green and gold. So we're keeping to the tradition of the Sweet Home colors and everything. It just is a different name. As you move into middle school, you become a Tiger. And then you move into the Husky, which is obviously all of that. So the name, I don't think really should matter. Keeping the tradition with the community colors, I think absolutely matters, because that's what this community is. That's who we are. So hopefully that answered your question.
And it's not a part of the 7th and 8th, because I had seen that it was a part of the 7th and 8th too.
It was on as the large scale, what they provide is 7th and 8th. And I'm not trying to take away from the middle school participation at all. Really, it's just getting them, these players, a couple of them behind me, a more competitive experience for tackle football that is going to hopefully set up a more competitive cohort as they go to middle school. And then as they eventually end up with Coach Adams. And that's the true nature of the intent of all of this, is to build up our football fundamentals, as we try to, as a community, hopefully want to have successful football programs. I played football growing up. It's fun to be successful. So that, hopefully that answers the question there.
So you have, how many kids on your team, your Sweet Home team now? They're signed up?
Registration they've just opened,
Okay.
so we don't have final numbers. But I mean, instead of having 30 kids on a team, which is almost impossible to manage as someone who's coached
At
that.
that age, that's.
Having more reduced sizes, and if there's flag and a couple other tackle organizations, hopefully that would kind of level the field really of the playing time and why people pay what they pay, and get more out of it. So you've got 10 plays. Maybe they're going to get play a lot more, develop regardless of which organization they want to be part of. So that I don't have final numbers yet, but I am confident that the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th grade teams, those two teams are going to be able to be established here.
Yeah. You have enough interest to definitely get some ball clubs together, and you think make it happen?
Yes.
Just from preliminary feelers you put out.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And you guys are working with the other programs to just make, like, you said you're working with Adams and you're working with those people, like, because if you're trying to develop something much larger than what, like you're trying to work with the programs that are established.
I mean, that's the goal. Yeah, I'm trying to take it away from high school.
No, just curious.
Yeah.
You're probably familiar with most sports. I mean, is this comparable to, say, like we have the MAC club in Sweet Home, and it starts young kids with wrestling and get them their feet under them and make them fairly competitive before they get into the larger program at the junior high or high school? Is this kind of the same type of thing? I mean, more or less.
That's the goal.
That's a good analogy there.
Yeah, that's compared. I mean, how do I compare myself to MAC club? But to get something established that is at a more competitive level, I guess is the simplest way to put it, as they move into the middle school and then the high school.
Right. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, everybody.
Thank you.
Somebody left your glasses.
Oh. All right, do we have any board comments tonight?
I have one. I have been appointed to the Oregon School Board Association Rural School Caucus as on the leadership committee for the Lane region. It's just the person that was there had to resign and nobody stepped up, and as a region that touches their region, I'm already representing us, Sweet Home School District, on the caucus, so this is just kind of another step, I guess.
Congratulations.
Until November.
I was worried you might run out of something to do, so pick up something else.
All right, any other board comments? Okay, let's adjourn for 5 minutes, and when we come back, we'll come back into executive session under ORS 192-660 2D, 2E, 2I, and 2A to discuss classified bargaining, negotiating property, superintendent's evaluation, and contract personnel renewal recommendations. So 5 minutes now, we'll come back at 7:35.